Everything's coming up to Timberwolves. Yeah, in the zone. Simple dedication to the team when you're in the know. To Timberwolves. Yeah, in the soul. Lifting all the positivity for the Wolves to grow. So, where we going from here, man? We listen week to week to get the clearest to clear. Recaps, got that. Soundcap, got that. Team ads, got that. So tell me what they do not have, huh? How dare you? Foolish question to ask, but I don't mean to go brag. But boy, they got all the stats, and they could go all the way back from KG to Zerbiak. And all I'm saying is that the cast a one-stop shop for my Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Ain't a thing falling, everything's coming up. Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Falling from the autumn, ain't nobody gonna stop them. It's the Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Phonies, you can spot them, they the sheep under their clothes. Timberwolves. Timberwolves. Talk a lot about them, y'all don't really know. Let's go.
Welcome in to the Everything's Coming Up Timberwolves podcast. My name is Gabe Anderson, and I am joined by Chris Emerson. Chris, how we doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a tough week, but for Timberwolves fans, but I'm doing good.
Awesome. Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. I love the new backdrop.
Thank you. You know, representing from when I started watching the Wolves.
Right. Absolutely.
The true OG, real best logo, maybe in all of basketball. Should have never left it.
In a week, we're talking about jerseys. Bring back those jerseys.
Hey, that might be the only thing we got good to talk about.
Absolutely. And we're also joined by Devontae Culpepper. How you doing?
Good. How about y'all? I'm sorry, my camera is so my Mac is in the shop right now, so I'm using my grandma's laptop. So
yeah. Hey,
okay, no problem.
The message is all that we need.
Right, okay. Absolutely. I mean, heck, when we had Gary Gabe on, he was frozen for half of it. So yeah, we're all good. So this is the Everything's Coming Up Timberwolves podcast. Thanks for joining us tonight. If you got something that you want to ask us or got a comment, make sure to type that in the chat. We'll be sure to get to your comments and questions. And we'll start with this, man, the Timberwolves. Just why is the offense not clicking so far? And we'll start with you, Chris. That's the one thing that we were supposed to be good at this year was offense. Right. Defense is what we were worried about. Why hasn't the offense been able to get going?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there was the talk beforehand that, you know, all we really worked on in the preseason was defense and we didn't really work on offense. You know, might be part of that. I remember when we signed Finch, he said that his offense is kind of like a free-flowing plan, not structured like Flip Saunders or Ryan Saunders. And he just kind of like puts like brackets on people and let them create and be free within that. And maybe we don't have the personnel for that. I'm not sure. But it's not working. You know, like D'Lo is definitely a free-flow guy. Cat to me kind of seems he might be too cerebral for that. Like he doesn't seem like a read and react kind of guy. He still kind of moves robotically. I don't know, but it looks bad, you know, and it seems like the only way Beasley can play is when one of the big three isn't playing. So that doesn't help either.
Right. Yeah. Devontae, anything to add on that? Why isn't our defense clicking?
Or offense?
Offense. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think we need a pure point guard. Like I was trying to, tell Gary, but I was arguing with him. But I honestly think we need a pure point guard that could, make sure everyone is in the right place at the right time. I don't really view Patrick Beverley as a pure point guard like how, Ricky Rubio was. Even though a lot of people, hated him while he was here, but I think he's a really a majority of the reason why Finch's offense really looked as good as it was, you know what I'm saying? It's just we really don't have that. I feel like D'Lo is more of a two guard. He's more about just getting a bucket and scoring more than trying to help facilitate, making sure guys are getting all the right touches and stuff like that. It's just honestly crazy to me how Cat is like our third usage player on offense, I think, as of right now, and he's our most efficient guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion.
One of the most efficient in the whole NBA.
Yeah. I just think we need a pure point guard, though. We really don't have that. Like, a lot of people were happy when Ricky was gone, but now it's just backfiring, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, particularly what Ricky did a couple games ago. I mean, 8 for 9 from threes, 37 points, just doing everything for a Cavs who are doing great so far. I believe they're 7-4 at last time I saw them. So go ahead, Chris.
So, I mean, the thing that's tough is we seem to have three guys that want to play like one-on-one AAU ball type things. Like that's and two of them are our main ball handlers. And that's the thing about Rubio. Like everyone hates Rubio, and yes, I'm a huge Rubio guy, so this is going to sound ridiculous because, coming from me, but there's only so many shots in a game. So everyone wants to kill Rubio for not shooting well, but he shoots what, 6 shots a game, 7? Like, I don't care. I literally don't care at all what your field goal percentage is if you're shooting 6 times a game. If you're getting 10 assists and two turnovers, like he brings the ball up, and the first thing he's doing is trying to get the flow of the offense happening, get everything moving, get the ball swinging around. We don't have that. We have guys that come up, and it seems like their first idea is to get in their action, and it's not working. Like it's just like I've talked about many times. I don't know if it's D'Lo in a contract year. But Finch talked about how they wanted him to be a play creator this year. They wanted him to be a distributor this year. That's what they loved about him in college when they scouted him when he was in Houston. And I'm not seeing it, and I think D'Lo, unfortunately, if we want to win, he has to take a step back and not try to score 30 points and try to give us 15 assists instead.
Right, I agree. And some that I'll mention is I almost see the Timberwolves sometimes, like particularly the stars like Ant and Cat and D'Lo, almost being a little too unselfish at sometimes. Like they have an open shot, like they could just dribble in and take a shot, but instead they're trying to dish it out to these other guys. Like, for example, like Jared Vanderbilt in the corner. Like Jared Vanderbilt should never take a 3-pointer, in my opinion, unless there's 1 second left on the clock. But I don't know, like giving up a drive to throw to an open Vanderbilt in the corner like that, I don't know. That doesn't seem to flow with me. So let's ask this question. So we're 3-6, coming up with a tough schedule. Coming up, we got basically the California teams minus the Kings, the one that we would have the best chance against. Is it time to panic? And we'll start with you, Chris. What do you think? Is it panic time in Minnesota?
It just might be that we're just not that good. Like, you were talking about kicking into Vanderbilt for a 3. I mean, the problem is let's replace Vanderbilt with almost anyone else on our roster right now, and it's still a bad decision,
Sure.
So if it's a bad decision for a star to kick to an open shot in the corner, that just might mean we don't have enough talent. And I hate to say it, but right now, let's say we end up in the bottom 10 or in the, the mid to high lottery, we can put in a piece that hopefully has star potential or at least really high-end role player potential. And then after we move guys or after we lose guys like Beverly and Prince because they're on 1-year contracts, that's going to free up $20 million we're going to have under the cap next year. So we could maybe supplement a decent role player, in free agency. Like we just don't have the talent right now. So I mean, panic, I don't think panic is the word. I think maybe reassess what is really in front of us. Like everyone thought we were going to, or a lot of people thought we were going to jump to like 7 seed.
Jared.
But to take a jump from where we were to a 6-7 seed is almost unprecedented in the NBA. Like you might make a 10-game win jump or something like that, but a 20-game win jump or whatever we would have needed, it just doesn't happen.
Right. It's unprecedented unless you get a generational talent like a LeBron or something like that. Like Cleveland was terrible, and then they got LeBron, obviously. And so, Devontae, what do you think? Is it time to panic right now if you're a Wolves fan?
Okay, so I look at it like this.
Yeah, go ahead.
it's honestly like if we don't have one of the three, like for all 82 games, it just, we're just not good. You know what I'm saying? So I honestly feel like, it's not like a coaching thing, or I just feel like it's like the players now. I feel like it's like a mentality type of thing. That's why I really miss, Jimmy Butler. A lot of Minnesota's people don't, but I really miss him because he just had a killer mentality. Like he leaves it all out on the floor every single time. And like when we had him, we were the third seed, but that's a different topic. But I just missed, I feel like, besides Patrick Beverly, like who else really has like a killer mentality? Like a lot of, last game I saw a lot of possessions where Cat could have posted up, Ja Moran or Clark, and really wasn't. But I just feel like we kind of, if we don't trade for Simmons, the Cat era, I feel like it's probably going to come to an end, So, I was saying all summer long, like I feel like if we offer D'Lo and a couple of picks for Simmons, it could have got it done. But a lot of people, I know, but it's kind of hard, when he's playing bad or not available. But
when he's not only playing bad, he's not mentally ready to play. Like at least that's what he's telling Philadelphia. At least,
yeah, I don't know. I was just gonna say, I'm just at this point, I'm probably just ready to see what we could get for Cat and D'Lo and build around Ant Jaden. We could grab like Chet or someone, in the draft to help build the core, and I just feel like, we won't be in the longest of a rebuild that a lot of people think if we do trade those guys, because we'll get a lot in return for Cat. Right. We probably wouldn't get, a top 3 protected pick in for D'Lo, but I feel like we could get a decent return for him. So panic button. Let's just see how this week goes. But we do have a tough schedule. We play the Suns, the Clippers, Warriors. So we probably all know those are losses. So we're going to be even more down the line of, but last thing I'm going to say is at full strength, I feel like we are a playing team. That's just my opinion. I feel like we're like a 9th seed playing team. But if one of the 3 guys go down, that could easily be top 5 in the lottery.
Right. And I think like to your point that we're a playing team. I mean, we should have beat Memphis last night at full strength, right? Like we should have. I mean, and we'll talk about the stagnant offense at the end of the quarter in a second here, but we should have beat Memphis last night. And Memphis last year was a playing team, and we were playing on the road, and we were playing against basically, for the most part, a full strength Memphis team. So it's not like we played bad last night. It's just that we blew it up in such bad fashion that I don't know. It's just kind of a
it's
mess.
Tough. And Devontae, like you were saying, like we need all 3 guys, because when you have a team, and that's part of the problem that I question going after another max guy and having 3 max guys, is then you have to be so good at drafting or getting, $1 million, $3 million, like second round draft picks, or $2, $3, $4 million guys to be playing above their level. Because without one of those max guys, you're down so much talent. And that's what's trouble right now with when D'Lo was out, is we've lost so much talent that way with D'Lo out that, you can't make that up. Like you said, Beverly, he's not a point guard. He's a 2 guard that's just short. He plays hard D, but like he misses so many passes out there. Like he's just not a distributor. Yes, he's a great defender, and that's wonderful, but that's not what we need right now. We needed, defense is doing fine. We need someone that can get other people involved.
Mm-hmm. I would tend to agree on that one. It just sucks because, like, particularly that Memphis loss. Like, if we're coming off a strong second half win against Memphis, then we're feeling a lot better, right? We're 4-5. Yes, we got a tough schedule ahead of us, but we got 2 road wins if that happens. We got we got 2 quality road wins. I mean, yes, the Bucks aren't great this year, but they still have Giannis, and we still would have been able to say we beat Giannis and Ja Morant. So, by the way,
and we could beat them by 20. We were up 17, dude. Like, if we could have blew them out of the water. And Ja Morant is 1 or 3 in MVP, voting right now. Dude's killing it. So,
right,
yeah, it was a shame. And what do you do?
The loss that really hurt was the Magic. I was like, how did we really lose the Magic?
Yeah, I agree. I was there. It didn't feel great,
and that's why we lost.
Yeah. So if you didn't know, Devontae, I've been to 3 games this year, all losses. So I don't know if that says something. I don't know what that says, but and 2 against bad teams. I was at the Pelicans loss and the Orlando loss. I was at the Denver loss, which wasn't as bad, but still.
I was there too. I honestly feel like at the end of that game, D'Lo should have just took the 3. I like how cold-blooded he is in the 4th. I feel like he should have just
blew my mind. He didn't.
I know, instead of giving it up to Beasley, but it's just.
By the way,
we missed so many layups that game. Like we're just kicking ourselves in the foot with just stupid plays. Like, we're better than this. Like, how many times has Edwards been at the rim and just can't finish, or I don't know, like just jumps into guys? He's not getting any. We're not getting any calls. I mean, that's part of it, but people want to complain about that. But part of it is we're terrible. Like, if I was a ref, I'm not going to give a terrible young team calls, like, show me that you're worth it. Like, that's just how the NBA works. Unfortunately, it's not all based on reality. I saw something the other day that I want to bring up. They said that, now I'm all messed up. So I think, okay, here we go. So we're taking this was before last game. We're taking 35% of our shots at the rim, which is 8th in the NBA. But we're shooting 17 free throws attempts a game, which is 27th. So we're shooting at the rim and of course it's not apples to apples always, but we're shooting at the rim the 8th most in the NBA, but we have the 27th most free throws. Like, something doesn't jive there for me. So, I mean, that's part of it.
Right. Devontae, you got some? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, dang, hold on. He just brought something up.
Lack of respect from the refs.
Yeah, no. So it was about Edwards. You was talking about him driving. I honestly feel like it's crazy that he's taking 10 threes a game. Like I feel like that's the reason why he's so inefficient. I feel like one day he's gonna learn that shooting isn't really his strength. He needs to get to the basket. Like, I feel like if he attacks the rim like how D Wade and how Ja Morant does, like consistently like that, like there's just nobody gonna stop him. But that's another
He's a
reason
big
why.
Body.
Yeah, that, and then lastly, I feel like with Malik Beasley, I honestly felt like the best time to trade him was when he came off the season averaging 20. And I just feel like now if we try to package him up, like, it's just not gonna work. But
no.
Last part about Beasley, I honestly feel like we should have did that trade when it was Beasley in the first for Collins. I don't know why we didn't.
Great.
Yeah,
great.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it at this point. I mean, Beasley, he shows flashes. Like, he's had a couple games the same, and he had 18 in one game. He hit like 6 threes, but it's inconsistent. There's nothing that shows. He does have a nice mid-range jumper, I will say, but I mean, I'm taking John Collins 10 times out of 10 over Malik Beasley right now, which is disappointing because, like, when we were talking on this podcast during the offseason, we're like, oh, how is Beasley going to get his? We have so many great scorers. Like, we're going to have a conflict of interest here, or too many riches. And how these guys all gonna get, like, come to the table. But I mean, that hasn't been an issue so far.
So far, Beasley's not he's not getting his. That's the problem. I mean, we're not moving the ball around. He's not getting any shots.
So
honestly,
yeah.
Now I was just gonna say, I honestly feel like part of the reason why he was getting so much good looks is because Ricky he had a pure point guard right next to him, but not not trying to be negative or anything, but honestly think Beasley's probably one of those players that stuffs the stat sheets on really bad teams. But when it's a stacked team, it's kind of a different story. That's why in Denver, we're seeing the same type of production that he was doing in Denver as we are now, because he's on on a really really good team. So I don't know. I just feel like we should have just traded him last year
For sure.
for.
So would you guys say that the contract that we gave Beasley at this point's an overpay?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No,
I don't think it's. I think it's undecided so far.
Okay.
No, because with shooters around the league, they honestly get more than that. That's a good. He's on a really really good contract. Shooters like Evan Fournier got $20 million a year. So I honestly feel like as a Minnesota fan, Gerson, he did. That was one of the good things he did, was put him on a really good contract. I honestly think D'Angelo Russell should be on the same contract as him, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would free up some cap room and make things a lot more simpler for us. I mean, but even D'Lo, I mean, he showed last night 30 points last night, hitting some big shots. I don't know. It seems like he's big for like a quarter or two, and then he kind of goes away. For what I've noticed.
Well, if he's not hitting those rainbow 3-pointers, what else is he doing? Like, he doesn't take it to the rack. He doesn't do much else. Like, if his shot is off, he has nothing. Whereas, other guys that are near max guys or max guys, they'll have a secondary option. He just doesn't have that.
Mhm.
Or doesn't use it. I mean, the thing is when he finishes, he's a great finisher at the rim. Like, I remember a couple years back, he was like the 98th percentile for finishing at the rim, but he was like the 5th percentile, like 98th percentile meaning good, and the 5th percentile meaning bad at actual shots at the rim. So like, when he gets to the rim, he's creative and he can put that ball up high, and he's good, but he just doesn't do it much, because I think a lot like Ant, it takes a lot of work and takes a lot of effort to get to the rim, and it's a lot easier just to launch a shot.
Yeah, now my only problem with D'Lo is that he's in street clothes more than playing, and just like we're giving him and Cat $62 million, a year, and it's just I feel like your best ability is availability. That I've always been that type of guy, So that, and then also he's inefficient too. We have a lot of inefficient scorers. You know what I'm saying? Like D'Lo, he plays good in one every 3 to 5 games. He has a really good game. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like our team is kind of constructed where we either have a really good defensive player, but he's terrible offensively, or we have a really good offensive player, but he's terrible defensively.
Right.
Or we just have, players that are overpaid and, they're really inefficient. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would tend to agree. So one thing that I did this, I found the stat just by pulling out the calculator. So in the last 5 games, which is our current losing streak right now, we've been outscored by 54 points in the fourth quarter, averaging outscored by 10.8 points a game. And in the fourth quarter, we're only averaging 19 points in the fourth quarter. So I mean, yeah, it is hard to win. So what do we gotta do different? Like, does the offense? I feel like I watched the Timberwolves in the fourth quarter. They're active in like the third quarter. They're scrappy. They're going after it. And then like once it's winning time, once they're up 6, like last night, they were up 16, 17. It's just the offense stagnates, and it's just the 3, D'Lo, Ant, and Towns just passing the ball on top of the perimeter, and then maybe there's one cut or so, and then that's about it. Like, how do we get the offense going in the fourth quarter when it's winning time? What do you think, Chris?
It's the same way that I've been saying for a year and a half now. I think Naz needs to play next to Cat. I think Naz needs to play 25 minutes a game. I think right now he's playing 13, 14 minutes a game. I know last night he played some with Cat and he killed it. He was plus 15 in like his 13 minutes he played. And I get it. I get the problem. People are like, oh, well, how is he going to match up defensively? And it's like, okay, well, how are they going to match up with us? Like with two big guys. We can't
Sure.
rebound right now. We have nobody else that can really do anything in the post. Cat is not near. I mean, Nas is a better post player than Cat. I'll say that right now. He's got better post moves. He's got better finishing around the rim. He's better, I think, in the pick and roll as a roll man. I think he's got better hands. I think he can finish better on the roll. I think he's a better shot blocker than Cat. Like he can play, and the fact that he's probably our fourth best player on our team, and he's playing 13 minutes a game, I think is a huge mistake. And it seems so simple for a team that can't rebound and was having trouble defending at the rim and have trouble with guys that can't shoot being a power forward, not playing him. Like it seems such a simple answer that there must be something else that I'm missing because I'm not nearly as smart as Finch is as an offensive coach. But I don't know, man. Like it seems too simple. We need more talent out there, and he's our talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I honestly think, I was gonna make a post about that, last night. I felt like we should just find a good backup center and then just roll with Nas at the 4. But problem with that is I just don't think he's in shape, or him or Cat really is in shape to guard the perimeter, or the stretch fours, you know what I'm saying? And also I just it's just kind of it just I just feel like if we start him, we really don't have any like firepower coming off the bench. Like Vando, we already know what he's gonna bring. So it's just, and then also what Chris has said, often stagnant. I honestly think, because I was watching a podcast, so I honestly think it's kind of like we never really been in a situation like all last year. We weren't in that type of situations. You know what I'm saying? I think like winning is kind of a routine thing. It's a routine thing like anything else. So I honestly think this is new for everybody. We have Cat, and then we have sophomores and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, and I do think that we're going to need Nas in the second unit. What I would like to see is kind of what we do with D'Lo, where we start Nas and he plays, 4 or 5 minutes, and then he's the first sub out. We bring in Vanderbilt to kind of mix things up, and then once Cat leaves and Edwards leaves, then D'Lo comes in. D'Lo and Nas come back in. So we kind of stagger those guys like we kind of do with D'Lo. He's the first sub out, and then he's the first sub back in. And then in the fourth quarter, just pile him in there. Like I said, he's been playing 14 minutes a game. Like we can find another 10. Like, I mean, is Prince doing anything for you?
No.
Like, no. Like, is Okogie really doing anything? Like, Okogie's fine. Like, he runs around and tries hard, but like that's not doing it for me either. Like, this is NBA. Like, we need guys who can do more than just try hard.
Right. Like, I feel like Okogie would fit in well in like your local rec league, where
he'd be a monster.
Yeah, he would. He'd be getting all the rebounds. He wouldn't be making shots, but
no,
he would at least be trying really hard. I don't know. Like every minute that Josh Okogie isn't on the floor, I feel like he's in a missed minute. Like, I don't know. It's just it's kind of a mess right now. But moving forward, you guys. I'm just taking a look at the outline. Right.
Here,
right
look
now.
at this question that this guy just posted.
I missed it. Okay.
And
so
to touch on that is, I think that's part of the issue is everyone wants to get down on Cat because he's not Jokic or he's not whoever you want to say he is. But I think he's a 23rd highest paid player in the NBA right now. And he's worth that money. He's worth it. Is he going to be LeBron James and carry your team to the finals? No, he's not. Is he going to be, something like even Russell Westbrook, where he'll just maybe take over a game? No, because he's he's not a ball handler, so you got to get him the ball. Part of the reason why having a guy like a Rubio would be nice because they can get him the ball where he can be effective.
Mhm.
But when it comes to money, it's tough with these max guys, like you're not going to find a guy that can give you what Cat can give you for all that much less. And it's just not an easy find. So what we need is a ball. Like D'Lo is probably the issue with the money. And we need a guy, we need Edwards to end up being the Dwayne Wade type or like the alpha that we play off him. And Cat would be a monster playing off somebody like him.
Mhm.
But Edwards isn't ready for that yet. He's a second year guy. He's 20 years old. Like he's not going to be ready for that for probably 2 or 3, 4 more years. Like that's, Michael Jordan didn't win a championship till like year 7 or something. Same with Cole. Same with like almost everybody who's won championships. It takes 5, 6, 7 years before they get there. To think it's going to happen in 2 or 3, it's just not.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of eggs in those baskets, but what are your other options? Like when players are good, you have to pay them.
Right. Devontae, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So I was talking to my one of my good friends today, and he was just saying how by the day it kind of seems like Minnesota should have went with LaMelo instead of Edwards, even though a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it was just saying like we'll have we could move D'Lo to the 2 so he could just score like how he wants to, and then he'll give Cat a lot of more easier looks. You know what I'm saying? And most people will be like, oh, the defense will be bad. Well, it's Edwards really, a good defender, you know what I'm
He's
saying?
defending pretty good.
I
yeah.
know, but their defense, LaMelo has a better defensive rating, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, Melo's
he was
okay.
just basically was just saying by the day, it just kind of seems like Minnesota should have went with that pick over, Edwards, but it is so arguable. I just honestly feel like once we get, a true point guard and another big in here, we could start winning some games because you really can't win games when you're the smallest team in the NBA.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we just don't have enough talent yet. Is really what it is. Like the big 3 that we have is not good enough to take us to the promised land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think as much as Wolves fans don't want to admit it, like I think we've known that for a while, right? Like we've known that this team maybe will get us some success, like maybe make the play-in, playoffs, something like that. But I think we know that like we can't compete with the Suns, we can't compete with the Bucks. Like I said, the Bucks aren't doing great this year, but that's irrelevant. They won the championship last year.
Well, they're
We can't
hurt.
compete
They've
with
got 2 starters out, 3 starters out.
right. I mean, we can't compete with the Lakers. We can't compete with.
I feel
Winning.
like a trio of Simmons and Cat can, and then you could have you could just find another big or something like that for a
Mhm.
sub. You could start Nas. You could have
Well, Beasley would look a lot better with that lineup.
or yeah, you could have Simmons and Cat, Beasley and McDaniels, and I honestly feel like we could get to the second round. He brings the ceiling a lot more higher than D'Lo would. It just because he offers a lot more to the game. That's why I honestly feel like we should have did that deal with them during the summer. Because now since he's struggling, there's no way Philly takes him.
So do you see? Because we've talked about this on the show, but since your first time joining us, Devontae, do you see any world where Simmons ends up on this team like this season?
Yeah, I honestly feel like with Embiid going out with health protocols and stuff like that, and I honestly feel like the only way is if Philadelphia starts to struggle and they just pull the trigger, or if a team, if we really start getting desperate and we just give them whatever they want, so we could just get Simmons. But I honestly think the only deal Morey probably would do now is if we do D'Lo, Beasley, and a couple picks, which I'll still do because Ben Simmons will still be the best player in that deal. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
I
getting there.
I don't think we could add Beasley, so I think it'd be too much money. So I think it would have to be something like
It'll be a salary filler. They'll have to give us like a salary.
That's the trouble. Their team is so weird. They've got like the same thing as us. If we had 3 max guys, they pretty much have 3 max guys, and everyone else on their roster, other than Curry, who's making $10 million, is making Curry and Green. So maybe Green would work. They're making 10 million each, and then everyone else is making like 3 million. So
Yeah,
it's
nah,
tough to fill
a
it.
$3 million salary cap. Like if we took like Isaiah Joe.
Oh yeah, we saw that. Yep, you showed me that. Yep,
we can make it work if if we just
I would
take
do
some.
it.
Yeah,
I would do
I
it.
would at this point. There's something
I mean, it
in
gets to
me
the point
that
where this one's not working. Like what we're doing now is not working. So something has to change.
Mhm. Yeah, I would agree. I think we'll see once we get through this California stretch where we're at. But I mean, we could easily be 3-8, 3-9, 3. I remember I posted in the group. I said, call your shot. Like we're 10 games in the season. Then I listed all the games that they had. What would the Wolves record be? And man, everyone was so high. They're like, oh, for sure, 6-4. Oh, for sure, 7-3, stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I was optimistic given the schedule we had. I feel like we'd be in such better position if we just took care of business last night, took care of business against Orlando, and then took care of business against New Orleans. We'd be in such better shape right now.
And we could have.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like, so one thing that I hated about this year, and I wish we could have switched the schedule around, is we started with Houston and we started with the Pelicans, and both those teams are trash.
Mhm.
And I remember when we got those wins, I was looking at Edwards specifically. He was acting like he was like King Dingaling. Like, and I love
Right.
me some Edwards, but like we did nothing. Like you've done nothing so far. Don't act like we're about to win the title. Like we've done nothing. And we went into some of those games, it seemed like acting like we were the new kids in the block and we're about to take over the league. And the league's like, nah, this is a grown man's league. Like you're not ready for this yet. And we're not. So I wonder if we just kind of got too ahead of ourselves and maybe we need these losses. Maybe we needed this 16-point failure to really, although I thought the Clippers game would have brought it to attention too, but maybe we need to like, it'll give us a go back to the drawing board and get it right. But the problem is we still have McDaniels shooting, 10% from 3, Prince shooting 10% from 3, Vanderbilt having to play big minutes and he's almost completely worthless on offense. So it just comes down to talent right now.
Right. Actually, from 3, I was trying to get Jaden McDaniels so far this year. It's 26% from 3 for Jaden McDaniels, 39% from the field, 4 points a game.
And I think he was like 1 or 2, or he made a couple last game, which pumped him up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. So looking for let's look forward right now to the upcoming schedule. It's not looking promising. I guess the only thing that looks promising is maybe the Lakers because I don't know if they'll have LeBron back. So we got the Warriors tomorrow, then the Lakers on Friday, Clippers on Saturday, Suns on Monday. Watch out! I think I'm going to that game, so you can just mark that down as an L already. And then we got the Kings on Wednesday. So, do you see any wins in there?
I mean, it's the NBA. You never know.
Right.
I think I don't know. Like, if our big 3 carry us, I mean, we almost need 80 points out of our big 3 for us to win a game. I mean, and that sounds ridiculous, but we do. Like, we need, we need like 80 points. We need them to average like 25 a piece, to even have a shot. So we'll see.
Yeah, Devontae, you got any? What do you think? Do you think we got any wins coming up, or that you see, or all L's?
I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but I think we could beat the Suns. The Blazers beat them, so hopefully, we could get that win. But
Lakers, I think we could beat the Lakers.
Yeah, but not. Oh yeah, probably if no LeBron, yeah, probably. But it's just kind of horrible. All the not Warriors, they have the MVP right now.
For sure. So I think we're gonna cut it, leave it there tonight. Just because of time constraints. Devontae, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Chris, thanks for being here.
Yeah, let's have a better one with some wins next week or something, or trade
Absolutely.
or something. We need to do something, or start Nas, or shoot, let Jake Layman play 40 minutes. I don't even care. We need to mix something up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's something we'll bring up next week. Could we trade Jake Layman for something? But we'll talk about that
No.
later. By the way, we should get you a free Nas shirt. I'd wear it.
I'll draw it in marker. I'll have one made up for myself next week.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, this is the Everything's Coming Up Timberwolves podcast. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and follow on Spotify so you never miss an episode. And as always, go Wolves.
Thank you.